What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
So each week, I'm going to focus on a particular episode of the Netflix series Abstract. This one being the first one is Season 1, Episode 1 of Abstract, featuring Christoph Niemann discussing illustration. This obviously the first of many of the installments in the Abstract series, which just came out with Season 2. So I'm going through episode by episode, and this is going to be Episode 1 of Season 1. And Christoph Niemann, just a simple, he does a lot of illustration for The New Yorker, among other publications. He deals with abstraction as well as augmented reality. He likes to have his work interact with the real world in a lot of ways. So anywhere from, which there's other artists I've seen do a similar thing, where it's you have an object and you place the object down on the table on the piece of paper, and sometimes the object itself or sometimes the teeth will help compose the overall image of what's going on, and he'll, draw around that. And it's taking him, one thing I love about this series is that it takes you into the creative process of these different artists. It takes you into the mindset of these different artists, how, what kind of direction, perspective are they coming at their creative endeavors from. And this one being an abstraction, it definitely, watching it again, made me realize how much of an influence it was on where I took The Many Faces. Because at the time of seeing this first one, I had been doing just the abstraction of the face had been something that I had wanted to, or I had been kind of exploring and experimenting with. And after seeing this, it's very much, I could see that it helped maybe refine, I guess, what I was trying to do with trying to kind of come up with it and develop my own style. And I used to be in love with surrealism, Salvador Dali and all that. And this is kind of, I believe, a further extension of that, where you're trying to take as much away from the image as possible while leaving enough, just the most minimal amount of information to convey what the thing is. And with, for instance, my faces that I do, I try to force people to see faces in what otherwise might be considered to be like just mess in some ways. Not that I tried to be messy with the stuff or have a lot of noise in my pieces, but I try to force the viewer's brain to exist in the same reality that my brain exists while I'm making it, if that makes any sense. And Christoph Niemann, he's from Germany, and it's very, he's like, I mean, the lifestyle there seems to be more of a minimalist lifestyle, but he explores life in a very different way, looks at life in a very different way, because he is obsessed with kind of filtering reality through his brain into an abstract vision. He plays a lot with Legos, which I enjoy. It helps break down and kind of explain what abstraction is in art, where he gives an example of two ends of a spectrum, where you can have the very hyper-real spectrum of art, where somebody does a realistic depiction of what a heart looks like. And then on the far end of abstraction, in his example, would just be a red square, like a red pixel. And that red pixel would represent what a heart is. And he says somewhere in the middle is where you find the symbol of what a heart is, where it's, the which is I don't know how you come up with that being a heart. The traditional kind of like the heart in your emojis, where it's, the two curved ends, and like, because that's not what a heart looks like, not even close, like what a real human heart looks like. But when you find kind of the happy medium between the red pixel and the realistic heart, you come to an image that a stripped down image that still represents the thing that it's supposed to represent. And he exists in his journey in his life. Christoph is to play around in that gray area between the pixel and the heart, the heart emoji, the icon or the logo of the heart, and play around with that and try to push the line to one side. And there's some things where he shows like his little Lego sculptures, just basic Lego sculptures. He breaks down his family, kind of like having kids, how you have your first kid and it looks like this Lego. And then you have another kid and you're expecting to have just another Lego that looks like that, but the kid ends up being completely different than you thought. And, the everywhere from physically to emotionally to personality-wise, like everybody comes out pretty individual. And when you have a family, you don't have little clones. Your kids aren't little clones of people, that they're wildly different. And no matter what you think you're expecting, the next one will expand your expectations. And it's really interesting because when you kind of live in a minimalist, when your life is communicating through visuals in a very minimal way, you're forced to break down reality into smaller pieces, more manageable pieces. Despite reality being as complex as it is, sometimes being able to boil things down to their essence allows you to maneuver through ideas and concepts more easily. And it's just a fun exploration through his brain, through seeing what he sees and understanding that. I mean, like in any kind of endeavor, when you start doing it a lot, whether you're like a rapper, let's say, like you're Eminem and 8 Mile, right? Everything that you go through, your life that you go through, your brain, because you've been doing it so long, is already set up in a way to process life through making raps. If you're Eminem, like the sounds that you hear will influence the beats that you use, the words and the things that you experience, you filter through in a way to where they are described as rhymes and as flows and bars, as opposed to just a basic description. So it's the best part of art is seeing how reality filters through the brain of an artist and then becomes outputted in whatever style they have, whatever voice they have in the way that they make art. And this one, it's him kind of trying to understand augmented reality with technology and how he can blend his style and express his style through that kind of augmented reality, where he's already kind of doing an augmented reality style. So I really enjoyed the Christoph Niemann episode on illustration for this episode of Abstract Season 1, Episode 1. I highly recommend checking out the series. And next week, I'll dive into Season 1, Episode 2. But that's it for this episode. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at InspiredDisorder.com. Go check out what abstract work that I am filtering through my brain trying to force you to see faces in images that you may not understand or see the face if you didn't know that that's what my series was based on. So go by inspireddisorder.com and buy some of my artwork and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. You can follow me on all social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.